Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today, Kyle Bauer is at the Farmers and Ranchers Livestock Commission Company in Salina, talking with Mike Samples, the facility manager, and Dan Mason, a local cattle producer. Next, enjoy our weekly Kansas Soybean update, and then Kyle is back in Salina with Alan Geiger, a local cattle buyer from Chase County. Next, it's our weekly Kansas Farm Bureau update, and we'll end with another episode of Plain Talk with Kyle Bauer and Duane Toews.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Kyle at the Farmers and Ranchers Livestock Commission Company in Salina, where he catches up with the facility manager, Mike Samples.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer from Salina, Kansas with the Farmers and Ranchers Livestock Commission Company. I have Mike Samples. He's a longtime manager of this facility. Mike, tell us about your facility and what you do here at Farmers and Ranchers.
We're a livestock auction. We sell cattle for people all over the country. We also have horse sales. We do have hog sales on Monday morning. We're the largest livestock auction in the state of Kansas. We pride ourselves in that. We pride ourselves in trying to have an active market on all classes of cattle and horses and hogs that we sell.
When you say active market, what do you mean by that?
Having buyers for all classes of cattle, that's the main thing we look for is having somebody here to buy, and not just one or two, but maybe 3 or 4 on different classes of cattle, so we sure get the top of the market for everything we have.
Tell me, I'm going to ask you about your typical buyer, but first tell me about your typical seller.
Our sellers are very spread out group of sellers. We get cattle from lots of different states and lots of different places, and then of course we get local cattle from easily a 100-mile radius of Salina. And then like next week we've got some folks that own a ranch in Shamrock, Texas. They're sending all of their home-raised Angus source calves to us, so we get them from all over the country.
Why would someone send cattle all the way from Texas here?
Because we're nice people. We have a very active market. We pride ourselves in selling all classes of cattle to the top of the market. We also, if people go to the effort to Angus source their cattle or fall vaccinate their cattle or wean their cattle, we advertise that. We talk about when the cattle come in. We don't just sell the cattle. We try to provide a strong market for their cattle, just not a market.
Now, once they're sold, tell me about the buyers that come in. What's your typical buyer or most of your buyers look like?
Our buyers are everything just like our producers are. We have buyers that are corporate buyers that buy for the major corporations, the Cargills, the Five Rivers, all those different kinds there, the Cactus. Then we have a lot of farmer buyers, a lot of people that buy their own calves. We have a lot of northern people come down here and buy their own calves and yearlings and take them back to feed them their corn in Nebraska and Iowa.
When you have a cow herd, all the cattle are not the same. They're different sizes, they're different sexes. That's a big part of what you're able to do at a sale barn.
It is. We can sell everything from a butcher cow, butcher bull, to a stock cow. We have special stock cow sales, and then everything. Some producers like to sell their calves right off the cow, sell 4 or 5 weight calves. Some producers like to wean their cattle, sell 7, 8, 9 weight yearlings. So we have a market for all classes of cattle.
This is Kyle Bauer visiting with Mike Samples in Salina at the Farmers and Ranchers Livestock Commission Company.
Folks, stay with us after the break for Kyle's visit with Dan Mason, a local cattle producer.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
We do business with Blueville because of the quality of their work. It is excellent quality, and because they make a commitment to their customers.
We enjoy the benefits of hiring a good company to help us maintain this home.
We will always do business with Blueville. We have for many, many years, and there's no reason for us to look for any other service.
It's rodeo time in Sabetha. Come to the 61st Annual Northeast Kansas Rodeo on July 16th and 17th. Steer wrestling, calf roping, bull riding, and more. It's an exciting event for your whole family. The Sabetha Rodeo. Don't you dare miss it.
Ag AM in Kansas, brought to you in part by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back to Farm Factor as Dan Mason explains why he sells his cattle at a sale barn.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer from Salina at the Farmers and Ranchers Livestock Commission Company. I have with me Dan Mason. Dan is selling cattle today. The sale hasn't started yet, so we're able to stand here in the ring. Dan, tell me about your cow herd.
Well, I run 80 crossbred cows. They're crossbred Angus and Shorthorn, and I breed them to purebred Angus bulls.
And why is it you picked the Angus Shorthorn cross?
Angus, everything that seems to be black seems to be the market, but I do like the Shorthorn cross for ease of handling the cattle, and they just seem to be a very substantial breed.
So you're selling here at Salina today. Why do you sell at a sale barn?
Sale barn seems to be the best market for average to smaller producer like myself. We're exposed to a lot more buyers that way versus just a private treaty sale.
Now, your cow herd, do you calve? When do you calf, and is this your entire calf harvest right now?
This is the majority of my calf crop. I start calving in January with my heifers, and then my cows follow in February and March.
And so you normally sell this time of year?
Yes, this seems to fit. If I wean in August, late August, then I can background them for a few months and then sell them in November.
Now, we're actually at a special calf sale today rather than their regular cattle sale. Why is it you chose to sell at a special calf sale?
Actually, I just asked Mike Samples what he recommends, and he knows the market, and he gives me the day that probably the most advantageous for my sale.
Well, and the Livestock Commission Company operators, they are a resource for you.
Oh, yes, those guys know the cattle market. I can produce calves and take good care of my cattle, but I always ask the professionals on what the best way to market my cattle.
How was your grazing season this year? How were the gains? How the size of your calf crop? Is it larger, smaller, or normal?
Calf crop's good. I've been building back up after some very dry years, and we've had good grass the last 2 years.
We're visiting with Dan Mason at Salina, Kansas. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
Come back after this word from our sponsors for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Thanks for staying with us. Now here's this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Josh Runyon, a Geary County elementary school teacher, is joining us, and you were a part of a group that just completed the K-State Summer Soybean Science Institute. What were some of the expectations going into this program? And
some of the expectations that we had are just coming in and being more of a city kid and just teaching more city kids and military students. I know a lot about wheat and corn, but it was very exciting to learn more about soybeans. Some of the expectations I had was really just to get to know more about soybeans. And it's not a crop that I was familiar with. And going into that, we went into some of the plant structures that soy has that are very unique. And the most important thing is thank the Soybean Commission for allowing teachers to go and improve their professional development with agriculture, most importantly. But I think the best part about it was just learning about the huge regional crop that is growing in popularity. Learned a lot about weed control, the importance of spacing, and how important soybeans are in a crop rotation.
And the ability to see all that and to experience all that was literally to be out in the field.
K-State has an awesome program set up that the Soybean Commission sponsors. And we went out to their research park. We went down to Ashland Bottoms. We were able to see hail damage on crop. We were able to see bug infestation. Dr. McCornack, who's the main teacher for this, is using drone technology to help map out and check out more of the aphid population and try to control it. And is being able to watch a drone fly 5 meters in a field, and the thing was pretty cool.
How are you going to incorporate some of the things you've learned in this institute into your regular curriculum?
We were able to get supplies and technology, things that are obviously very hard for teachers to get right now. So I got an iPod 6 so we can help take pictures and progress crops. I got a plant light that the Soybean Commission provided, and to just be able to teach using inquiry with students and let them create their own investigations and hypothesize and test. And we have tons of soybean seeds. We learned about the bacteria and how they create their own nitrogen, and just letting other teachers know that you don't have to have a greenhouse. You don't have to have a plot of land to do this. We can do this all in our class and really start to get kids excited about agriculture.
Josh Runyon, Geary County Elementary School teacher, is joining us. He was a part of the Summer Soybean Science Institute at Kansas State University, and he's been our guest on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed the Kansas Soybean Update. Alan Geiger is up next.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Hi, I'm Annette from Jackson's. Our annual gigantic sale will be this Saturday, where every plant in the greenhouse and in our nursery, from annual to perennial, shrub, tree, or water plant, will be half price. Don't miss our biggest sale of the year.
WIBW Jackson's Greenhouse Garden Club members can shop Friday, Saturday, and Sunday when they present their membership card. They'll receive the 50% sale prices.
Jackson's Greenhouse has what you need today.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag. Farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Kyle Bauer and Alan Geiger visit now about the advantages of buying locally this year.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer, continuing our interviews at Farmers and Ranchers Livestock Commission in Salina. Have the opportunity to visit with Alan Geiger. Alan, where is your farming and ranching operation, and what does it look like?
We're over in Chase County by Elmdale, and we have a cow-calf operation and a small feed lot. We also do row crop.
So do you normally buy cattle here at Salina?
Last few years we've been using a cattle buyer. He's been purchasing the cattle out of Missouri, and we have them shipped home and then finished.
So why have you changed that?
Well, the margins are a lot tighter this year, and we thought maybe if we could buy locally we could save some on some freight.
Will the cattle you buy match up with some of the cattle you've raised at home?
Yes, we have a fall herd and a spring herd. The The fall cattle seem to be working a little better for us as we can finish them out earlier in the year and kind of hit the market a little better.
Normally when I think about Chase County and that area, I think about summer grazing, but you're obviously buying these cattle not to graze?
Right. They go into the feedlot. We market most of our cattle through Creekstone Farms down in Ark City, and it's just been another enterprise that we've added that's been real helpful to our operation recently.
You'll normally feed those cattle then all the way to processing weight?
Yes, we do.
So how has your summer been there in Chase County as far as moisture and grazing?
We did real good up until August. August, September, October has been very dry, but overall it was a good crop year and a good grass year, good hay year.
In your backgrounding operation, what will you use as feedstuffs?
We use mostly home-raised commodities. We use our own corn. We buy our protein supplements, probably mostly DDG. And then we have our own hay that we grind and raise our own silage.
And what weight cattle will you be looking at for today?
Oh, over 6.5, preferably 6.5 to 7 weights.
Steers or heifers?
Steers.
Tell me about your cow herd. What breed are they? You mentioned they were both spring and fall.
Well, since we market to Creekstone, our cows are all Angus-based. We've been using some hybrid bulls, some Angus Simmental bulls recently, which has been working real well for us.
So are you done calving for the fall?
Yes, we're completely done with that. So.
And your spring calves, when will they start?
We usually start around the 1st of March.
We're visiting with Alan Geiger here in Salina, Kansas. This is Kyle Bauer reporting. Back to you, Jamie.
After the break, it's time for today's Kansas Farm Bureau update. Stay tuned.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
It's rodeo time in Sabetha. Come to the 61st Annual Northeast Kansas Rodeo on July 16th and 17th. Steer wrestling, calf roping, bull riding, and more. It's an exciting event for your whole family. The Sabetha Rodeo. Don't you dare miss it. Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
We're back with this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
American Farm Bureau's tax specialist Pat Wolf says farmers need Congress to support cash accounting and the ability to deduct expenses when you make them. While tax reform is not likely during the election year, she says tax reform will top the list for Congress next year.
Work is going on behind the scenes to write a tax bill that will be front and center when we have a new president in January.
She says the current burden of a down farm economy and lower commodity prices further drive the need for tax reforms. Despite the uncertainties and lower prices, farmers must still spend the money needed to produce a crop.
One thing that continues are expenses, and what the tax code needs to do is to allow farmers to match up their income and expenses on their tax returns. The result of that will be farmers and ranchers will have a lower tax burden.
With lawmakers on the campaign trail this summer, she says farmers and ranchers need to tell legislators the needs of agriculture within the tax code.
What's the worst thing that can happen is that our elected officials don't hear from farmers about the taxes they pay. What will happen then is that somebody else will be deciding whether tax rates go up and down, whether farmers will be able to take deductions, what happens with the state taxes. So farmers need to speak up when they see their elected officials and tell them that what's in the tax code matters.
Michael Clements, Washington.
Stay with us for Plain Talk coming up next here on Farm Factor.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos. My shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery. And so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months, and I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Today we'll end our show with another episode of Plain Talk with Kyle Bauer and Duane Toews.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Toews. And let's see, in our subject of correlation without causation,
yes,
we've talked about this.
One of my favorites.
And go ahead and explain why that's your favorite.
It is because it is one of the things I learned in research methods while I was at Kansas State University.
Okay.
The only required class I had for my master's degree.
Okay.
And I learned more in that class than, I'll just say, a lot of other classes put together.
In other words, two things could both go up, but they don't cause each other.
Right. They're correlated, but it does not mean that one caused the other one to happen.
Okay, well, here in that same department, they have figured out that they can determine what the venture capital deals made in the Silicon Valley are by the number of ping pong tables that they're selling.
Oh.
And it's directly correlated clear back to 2013 per quarter. The more ping pong tables they sell, the more venture capital deals that are done.
Uh-huh.
And the first quarter was record low.
Oh.
Tiny number of ping pong tables.
It's not looking good.
It's not looking good if you want to be a venture capitalist in the Silicon Valley.
At least if you want to invest your money. I mean, if you're a venture capitalist, you don't have to invest.
No, or you might be able to get a better
hang on
deal.
To it.
Brazil's economy is a little
it's in turmoil.
Jacked up right now.
Yeah, the Brazilian real has had some issues.
And in the United States, interest rates are record low. I would guess most operating loans for farmers in this country are in that 5 to 6%.
Mm-hmm.
Think I'm in the neighborhood?
I think you're fair there.
Okay. Well, in Brazil, they control the money a lot closer than they do in the United States. The government determines how much is going to go to farm loans every year.
Oh, really?
And then they distribute it in some way out to retail, whether that's banks or credit unions or whatever. Said, you got this much to loan out.
Uh-huh.
Well, they have raised the amount of money that goes out to the farmers this year by $57 billion, which is about 25%.
Okay.
But the interest rate is now up over 11%.
Uh-huh.
So there's some of us my age.
That's a way to make money for the government.
Yeah, there's some people my age that remember when interest rates in this country were that high.
And higher.
And higher, exactly right. So anyway, if you're a Brazilian farmer, you can get money, but you're going to pay a lot more interest to do it.
Well, I mean, if the government's looking at recouping funds for their budget, I mean, that's obviously one way to do it.
Yeah.
You put more money out on loan and put it out at a higher rate,
okay,
as long as you get it back.
Maybe that's the reason they're doing it. I don't know. But one thing about it is it may be to Brazilian farmers, and they are increasing the amount of money, but they're not going to allow them to have a Brazilian dollars.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed the show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. To see this show and past episodes of Ag AM in Kansas, go online to agamandkansas.com.